hard to hate us. It can take freedom from a cold dead hands. We're locked in low for the last dance. 'Cause living on American gangsters. Ready to die for this man.
Consistent with real gender.
Ready to die for this land.
Welcome to the Patriot Punkcast. I am your host, Chase Matheson, and pretty much everything that we had planned for tonight's show has been thrown out the window in light of obvious recent events. For those of you who have been living under a rock for the last 24 to 48 hours, President Donald Trump was nearly assassinated yesterday at a rally in Pennsylvania. There's a lot of conflicting reports that have come out. There's been about 7 or 8 different people named as the shooter. There's obviously been a massive breakdown in security protocols. What we are going to do tonight, we have a couple of updates, a couple of events that we want to plug and we want to let you know about. But for the most part, this entire show will be focused on the events of July 13th and what happened to President Donald Trump, and what this means moving forward, what we expect to see as the pendulum swings. I think a lot of people have some very intense emotions running through them right now. I think that we were inches away from a very dangerous place. If you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, we are probably going to cut this show off right after introductions just so that we can speak freely. It's election season. We don't want to miss the opportunity to be able to post on those platforms because they don't approve of what we said. So please, if you would, go ahead right now, hop off of Facebook, go over to X or to Rumble. We will be answering questions. We will be pulling up stuff. We're going to be covering as much information that we can verify or that is speculatively true right now. We are going to be as logical and straightforward as possible. And hopefully we can come out of this with a little bit better understanding on how we should go into next week. That being said, I want to welcome my good friend, co-host, and out of the closet anarchist, Daniel Wagner.
Hey, Chase, what's going on, man?
Oh, not a lot. It's definitely a different attitude this week than I expected to take even as of yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, a lot of things in the political world don't affect me emotionally, but I actually found myself, shedding tears yesterday a little bit. I did not expect that. There's just is a lot to process, a lot to figure out, and maybe part of it's just me feeling inadequately prepared, even though I feel very prepared for what's to come if something's to come. So that's kind of where I'm at mentally at the moment.
I have to agree. I also think that a lot of the emotion is relief. Because we all know that no matter what happened, if that had ended more tragically yesterday, and not to say that how it ended was not tragic, we would have had the summer of love all over again. I don't think that it would have been Trump supporters, but there would have been so much emotion in the street. And you've seen how the liberals have reacted all over the internet. Somebody would have thought it was funny to say something inappropriate, and I think that some bad things would have happened.
Yeah. It hurt when I saw it. I was really pissed off when I saw probably the worst comment I saw on it was that we were inches away from having women's rights back. Yeah. And I'm like, that's way below the belt. And the most interesting part for me is just seeing. From a psychological standpoint, the way people have reacted to it and how people are responding to it. Some people are kind of measured and pacing themselves and not willing to necessarily put themselves out there too much right now. But other people are like cheering it on, and other people are crying over it, and other people are. It's just you get a whole mixed range of emotions over it, and it's really interesting to watch.
I agree. Well, so let's go ahead and bring on our guest for this evening. I think that her expertise in more of the national realm could prove to offer some insightful information during this conversation. And I know she has an event she wants to plug. So welcome our guest, Miss Courtenay Turner.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming back. It's been a long time. And So go ahead and just real quick tell everybody who you are, what you do, and then spend a minute or two talking about this Liberty Conference that you have.
Okay, well, I'm Courtenay Turner. I'm the host of the Courtenay Turner podcast, and you can find me at CourtenayTurner.com. That's spelled like Courtenay. It's COurtenayTurner.com. And I'm also at Courtenay Turner on X, Twitter. I still call it Twitter. Yeah, so I do tend to focus more national, a lot of also geopolitics, kind of philosophy. And the conference that I'm doing is called the Cognitive Liberty Conference, and it's a 2-day event. So the first day is a focus on cognitive liberty in education. So we've talked quite a bit about this, the education system and how they're trying to globalize education and, the agenda of the World Core Curriculum. That was the brainchild of Robert Mueller, who said that the education plans that he had created and that he was implementing were derived from the works of Alice Bailey, who's the founder of Lucius Trust, originally Lucifer Publishing. And he said it was going to be from Alice Bailey, from her ascended master, Dwell Cool, and a bunch of the other theosophists. And that became, in the United States, the Common Core Curriculum, or as Charlotte Iserbyt, I'm trying to find the book, calls it in her Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. She calls it Communist Core. And I think that's very aptly put. So we're going to be talking about that. We have a roundtable panelist of so it'll be kind of like a podcast with a live stream, and they will do little kind of a presentation on the subject. And then we'll open it up for questions from the live stream audience. And then day 2 is an all-day event, and there is a limited in-person audience available. So if anybody wants to come, that is going to be in the heart of downtown Nashville. The location will be disclosed to those who purchase the tickets. We are keeping it private for, security reasons and because it's a private location. So, but there are some tickets available for those who want to come in person, and for the live stream audience, they will also be able to ask questions during the question and answer. But that's going to be where there will be a series of speakers, lectures, and then we'll do a roundtable. Anybody who has seen I did a podcast with Dr. James Lindsay, Stephen Coughlin, and Jay Dyer. I did that about a year ago. They can find that on my channel. This is going to be an expanded version of that. We are adding to the roster Michael O'Fallon and Dr. John Gentry. And so it should be a really, really epic event, I think. And that focus is going to be on dialectics and how they are weaponized and utilized in psychological and political warfare. And I think that's very appropriate for what we are up against right now, coming into the election and the Summer of Love 2.0. And yeah.
So when is that event?
So that is August 16th and 17th. And it's in Nashville, but you can get live stream tickets and, from anywhere. So, yeah.
Awesome. On that note, there is another event that we have the date of the event scheduled. It is going to be, pretty sure it's Saturday, August the 11th is the day that we're going to be. It might be the 10th now that Saturday, August the 10th. We will be having a roundtable discussion similar to that, but this will be on school choice, school vouchers, and there's been a lot of, because of all the emotions surrounding this subject, there's been a lot of, I think, misunderstanding. I am, in theory, a supporter of the idea of school choice. However, I have not seen one practicable example of it. So, and I think a lot of people like the idea of school choice. They don't want to send their kids to McGavick. Let's be honest.
Right.
But it might be one of those things that's a pipe dream. It might be one of those things that there's certain things that we can change. So what I'm doing is having a roundtable discussion with members from all over the community. The people that I'm struggling to find right now are pro-voucher people, because it seems that it's mostly Republican establishment members who are watching it, and a lot of them don't like me, but this is an open invite for a cordial, moderated conversation. I will be moderating it, and I will not be taking sides. I am just going to cut all the BS out of it and try to keep things on point, logical, because I think that if we spend all this time infighting over something like school choice, school vouchers, things like that, and we start to destroy each other, we're going to end up screwing up and getting the likes of somebody like Gloria Johnson because the Republicans are infighting too much. And I just think that we should at least make the effort. Do I think they'll listen? I have no idea. I hope so. I hope that there's that we can at least present a long form discussion where people can be educated and actually stop listening to only talking points.
Well,
Go ahead.
Well, I love that you're doing that. I literally think maybe 20 shows on the subject of school choice. It is something I am very, very passionately against, and mostly because I know the long history of the agenda. I mean, this goes back, I really would argue, I mean, we have lots of evidence from people like Charlotte Iserbyt, who was the whistleblower under the Reagan administration on the BEST project. That was in the 80s, but I would argue this goes like all the way back to even the 1800s, really, with the exportation, the Vuntian, the Americanization of Vunt. Is what Anthony Sutton calls it. But, I would really argue it goes that far back. And we can see the plan. This comes from a globalist agenda. So I don't think there's any compromising on this. I think that it is incredibly important issue. That is part of what we're going to cover on day one. And I don't think I mentioned where they could find it. It's cognitivelibertyconference.com if anybody's interested in either live stream or the in-person tickets. But this issue of school choice is it's intentionally meant to be deceptive. It's intentionally meant to play the Hegelian dialectic. They talk about that in their documentation in the Carnegie doc.
No, I get it. I'm not. So here's the thing: is I'm one of the only people, other than the people who are in the trenches like yourself, actually talking about it. I want to give a platform to it, but also the thing, so the easiest way for school choice is stop taking my tax money and let me go to where I want to. And if you're against that, then I disagree with you. But I don't think they'll ever give us our tax money back. I'm willing to listen if they think they have solutions, but I'm also not going to sit there and argue and support this idea that 2 or 3% of all students getting school vouchers is somehow school choice. We've got to cut out all the bull crap. But anyway, that's going to be on August 11th or August 10th, and what we're going to do is probably pre-record it and then broadcast it, because a 4-hour live stream is going to be prone, with 6 or 8 panelists, is going to be prone to a lot of technical difficulties. And if we can not have the live stream factor in there, then actually moderating it and putting it into something that the average person, because if you ask the average Republican if they support school choice, the answer is yes, until you get into the details. And I think it's kind of like the idea possibly of socialism. On paper, it looks fantastic.
Sure.
Just never did. So, but
until you understand that it completely erodes any free will. But
we have to have the conversations. We can't just be on two opposite ends of the spectrum throwing shit at each other. It's a waste of time.
The biggest thing I'd like to see out of this is just having people break down how theory versus practice and how this is actually going to pan out.
Because that's the thing is, in theory, again, I think it sounds great, but I haven't seen anyone that can come close to presenting it in real life. Anyway, now that all that's out of the way, make sure you smash the like button, share the show with your friends, and if you feel so inclined, remember that the Patriot Punk Network is entirely self-funded and supported by just a few monthly contributors and viewers like you. Without you, we would not exist. So please go over to patriotpunknetwork.com. You can check out some of our previous local news stories. We have investigative videos. We have some comedic relief in there. We have stories about election integrity, all sorts of things. A lot of the stuff is published because no other outlet would publish it, or maybe no one else would look into it because, again, I'm sure Courtney can attest to it. There's too much news. There's just too much for one person or even one network to keep up with. And while you're over at the patriotpunknetwork.com, click on the support page. There you can become a monthly member. Whenever we have an opportunity, there will be monthly perks. If you are currently a monthly member, you will be entitled to first dibs on any in-person tickets to this event the day of. The venue that we have is not very large. We have to see how many tickets we can actually get with setup. But if there's any of you who would like to attend, please shoot me a message, and that'll be one of the perks of being a monthly member. And as always, if you ever need anything cleaned in your house, buy American. For those of you who don't know, I reactivated my authorized Kirby agreement, and Kirby has come a long way. They've been around for 110 years. They've been made in America for all 110 years of that. They have all sorts of warranties. The average life expectancy is decades. And they do literally everything from buffing and hardwood floors to shampooing area rugs, cleaning stairs, changing light bulbs, unclogging drains, and even painting the shed. Got to be water-based paint, fair disclosure. But it's one of those things we have always advertised through word of mouth. We've not been sold in box stores. They did try it a couple of times, and it just wasn't successful because this is the kind of product that before you invest, you should see how it works in your home. If you're interested in doing that, please shoot me a message. There will be a link up on my website probably by next week. Obviously, it's been a very hectic weekend. And I think that's about it. Let's get straight to business. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, see you. We're going to